The Job Fair and Trade Show is focusing on those occupations that go unfilled along the Great Lakes, many of which we are unaware. Labor market research is telling us that in the next 10 years, 1,300 jobs will go unfilled along the Great Lakes. One reason is the average age of folks working in this maritime industry is 58 years old. So many of the people who are currently engaged in occupations along the Great Lakes will be retiring, and we just do not have the young people coming forth with the training to acquire the skills to take these jobs. We do know, in talking to people in the industry and talking to the trainers, that all kinds of occupations are going unfilled. We do know that a young person or an adult learner going through a 2-year marine engineer program at Georgian College can graduate after 2 years and go on to a ship and make over $100,000 a year. We do know that there are first mates jobs going unfilled, engineers jobs going unfilled, cooks jobs going unfilled. All kinds of jobs are going unfilled. What we don't know is why. So we're bringing together, with the Job Fair and Trade Show, educators and trainers, job seekers, and those folks who actually work in the industry, so that those who are working in the industry can share their passion for their jobs and the realities of their jobs with those who may in fact be interested in acquiring the skills to take on those jobs.
Hello, my name is Lillian Kluka. I worked on ships for 25 years. I started out as an apprentice in the Marine Navigation Technology program at Georgian College in Owen Sound. Best decision I ever made. It was a 3-year co-op program. We spent 6 months on ships, and we spent 6 months in school learning the theory that we could apply at the next 6-month stint on the ships.
I'm a second-year nav cadet at Georgian College, originally from Nova Scotia. Moved here a couple of years ago, looking for a change, looking for something new. Worked on the water my entire life growing up and decided that perhaps it was time for a second career. Moved from Nova Scotia, arrived in Ontario a few years ago, found out about Owen Sound and the program that was offered through Georgian College. My first co-op was with Mateo Marine. I was taking steel from Hamilton to Sept-Îles, Quebec, back and forth. And then I was off the coast of Newfoundland, about 700 miles off the coast of Newfoundland, doing seismic research for an oil company. So the opportunities that are available to you after leaving this program are very vast. You can do things from cruise ships, you can work on fishing boats, you can stay local on the Great Lakes. There's really a world of opportunities available to you, not only with employers on the Great Lakes like I just mentioned, but you can feel free to go anywhere in the world, and that's what this job allows you the opportunity to do: pay and travel and get paid for it.
My brother and I are both tugboat captains. He owns and operates the tugboats down here in Goderich Harbor. Ian McAdam, Captain Ian McAdam is his name, and the company's McDonald Marine. Why am I a McAdam and the company's McDonald Marine? It's our great-grandfather. It was begun by our great-grandfather on our grandmother's side, and it's been passed down through the family. So that's how McAdam came to own McDonald Marine.
Hi, my name is David Trotter, and I've had a passion for shipwrecks, marine history, and discovery for the last 35 years, having started in the 1970s. It's been a unique, one-of-a-kind adventure that has occurred with the inception of the equipment and the capability and dedication to perhaps uncover some of these long-missing secrets of the Great Lakes.
My name is Sean O'Donoghue. I'm a Great Lakes ship captain. I have been sailing for 29 years now. I first started out sailing as a teenager. During the summertime, we would go aboard the tall ships, Pathfinder and Playfair, the brigantines. They come into Goderich, as a matter of fact. I first came into Goderich at age 17. Every summer in high school, we'd sail, and on a tall ship, you sail about 2,000 miles in a summer. You spend about almost 2 months of your summer on the ship. So that day, or the day after exams were done, we'd be going off to the ship and head out onto the Great Lakes. So I got this bug for sailing. I really like it. There's something about being on the water. It's a very nice experience to be out in the water. You're working with the elements, and we're traveling. I always liked the idea when I was younger that whenever I woke up, we were going places. We were going somewhere. We'd wake up in a new location.
I was very, very fortunate. I always managed to get really, really good ships. The captains might have raised an eyebrow, but were quite happy to let me stay, because in the late 70s, there were some companies that would not take women on ships simply because they were women. I was promoted to third mate because I had this forward-thinking captain who thought that given the same opportunities, there was no reason I couldn't do the job just as well as the guys. So I stayed with that company for the next 20 years. I worked my way up from apprentice to third officer, second officer, then chief officer, and after 10 years on various of the company ships, I was promoted to captain. And I was captain on various of the Patterson ships for 20 years. I was lucky enough to be on the small ships that were built for the Arctic trade, so I got to go up in the Arctic in the summertime, also down to Mexico and Texas and the eastern seaboard. We spent summers carrying road salt from Nova Scotia to the little tiny ports in Newfoundland, and then spent the better part of the season on the Great Lakes, going carrying grain downbound, bringing iron ore back upbound. So we kept the industry moving, and I worked there for 20 years, loved it, but at the same time an opportunity came up to move to the Great Lakes Pilotage Authority, and hard to pass up an offer like that. So I'm one of these people who thinks that if you're not moving forward, then you're losing ground. So I hated to leave Patterson. They were so good to me, but I moved to the pilotage, and then it was a bit of a shock because in the 20 years I'd been on the lakes, I knew everybody, everybody knew me, and then I got onto some foreign ships where the captains were appalled at having a woman think that they could pilot their ship. So I'm sure I won them over with my charm and good grace. And I stayed there for 5 years. It was like seeing the world without ever leaving the Great Lakes.
My parents actually helped me out. My dad was a Navy man, and my grandfather was a Navy man. So when I decided I wanted to do a Marine career, my dad thought that was a good idea. So we looked into various schools. There's the Coast Guard, there's the school in Rimouski, Quebec, there's Georgian College in Owen Sound, there's one in British Columbia, there's one in St. John's, Newfoundland. So I went to do my post-secondary education for professional training at Georgian College, which is a 3-year course. And I really enjoyed that because I was finally getting to go on a freighter. I thought ships were big and cool as a kid, and all this time later I still do. And the best part of the college course was we had to spend, out of 3 years at school, you spend 1 year on a ship. Not straight. There's 3 different work terms. So after spending 3 years in college, I've come out with 1 year of work experience, which was a paid work experience. So I got some money to help pay for school. I got experience, and I actually worked with my future employer. So it's actually a pretty good system all around the co-op experience. Once I graduated from college after 3 years, I got hired by Algoma, which is who I work for now. And after 10 years of being a deck officer, I went from third mate to second mate to first mate. After 10 years, I became a captain. I went through a process of being a training master where you're taught how to handle the ship, which is about a year-long process. And then I'm on my 8th year now as captain. this is a good career choice as far as I'm concerned. You do spend time away from home, and you've got to be willing to do that. We tend to work 2 months, as far as myself as a captain, I'm 2 months away from home and then a month off. So if you look at all your Saturdays and Sundays, basically, in a nutshell, all compiled together adds to almost a month vacation. So a month vacation, 2 months back out at sea, and a month vacation. And then the ships on the Great Lakes lay up in the wintertime. So January, February, and March is off. It's part of our lifestyle that we have the winters off. So come springtime, spring thaw, the ice melts, snow melts, the ships go back out to sea, and it's part of our system.
I'm Kirk Jones. I'm the Vice President of Sustainability Government Affairs for Canada Steamship Line. When I first joined this industry, I was 17 years old. I was a sea cadet of all things since I was 11. Got interested in the merchant marine. Found out about a college called Georgian College of Applied Arts, and it's in Owen Sound. So I enrolled in the navigation technology. So at 17, still really wet behind the ears, just leaving mom, a really nervous kid, tall and skinny, lanky. And joined my first vessel called the Golden Hind. Now, I spent 6 months on that vessel, and the seafarers, the professional seafarers, the captains, the first mates, the cooks, took me under their arm, and from that point on, I was hooked. I went through 3 years of navigation school, on and off 3 different boats in those 3 years, and then immediately joined Canada Steamship Lines, where if I go backwards in my biography a little bit, I come from a not well-off family. We struggled paycheck to paycheck, so there wasn't a lot of money. And so I joined my first boat after college with 30 cents in my pocket. That was what was left from the time that I graduated school to join my first boat. And I worked through the ranks up to Vice President at CSL, and I would never look back.
Toromont is a publicly traded company on the Toronto Stock Exchange. So all in all, we have a total employment within Toromont of somewhere in the region of about 3,200 people. So we're a large company. In the marine industry, as I say, we tend to focus on the Great Lakes, on the larger ships, and we've done a number of very large repowers over the last 8 years using MAK and Caterpillar engines, including the very well-known Chichimon ferry from Tobermory to South Baymouth. That's one of our real notable repowers. In terms of opportunity, the business is changing very quickly. So what we are continually searching is talent to move the business forward. Talent is a challenge for any business these days, so therefore we put a lot of focus into human resources, to recruitment. We do a lot of work through Sanford Fleming College in terms of technicians. And what we're looking for these days is not so much just people who can wield wrenches, because the day of the technician who turns wrenches is diminishing. That's still part of the business, but it's not the whole business. What we need are people who can self-manage, who are good at computer diagnostics, because a lot of our engines rely on computer systems for their operation. We look for people who have good customer relations, that can empathize with customers, so that we develop a win-win situation with our customers. So the old idea of a technician being in a dirty old greasy engine room and having a set of coveralls on, and that's their life, is no longer like that. It's very much of a more professional role within the industry.
I'm Georgianne Wachter, and this is?
I'm Mike Wachter. We do shipwreck research. We write books on shipwrecks, we do video programs on shipwrecks, and we try to educate people on the great diving opportunities in the Great Lakes. Demand for commercial divers far outstrips the current supply. Now, the range of careers there is phenomenal. It can be from diving oil rigs, where you're doing underwater videography, where you're doing underwater research and survey. So there's just a phenomenal range of things that you can do with dive training, particularly if you are commercially dive trained.
And all of these kids that have a lot of fine motion skills, they showed us ROVs and how you would locate things remotely. A lot of the work is too deep for regular diving, and it's too cost significantly, both in personnel and in just money. So you end up with ROVs, doing a lot of survey work on pipelines. The same
Driving an ROV is a lot like playing a video game.
Yes, and the same sort of people who do that, they might want to become an underwater archaeologist. They might want to study fish, they might be interested in biology, they might be interested in underwater photography and capturing either flora and fauna or shipwrecks on the bottom. So it was an amazing experience to see them do underwater welding and topside welding and practicing and being locked down in scuba chambers and things like that.
Hi, I'm Paul Carroll. My background is in education, and I bring that perspective to bear on the whole process of what's happening here. And my family is a waterfront family. My uncles were captains and mates on the Lakers, so I understand the importance of the lake, not only as a part of their way of life, but also as a way of income and supporting their families over generations. There is something out there for kids, and there's an opportunity waiting to have an exciting, adventurous lifestyle with a generous income. And it isn't old-fashioned like it used to be, where you say goodbye and you kiss your wife goodbye in the spring and you don't see her again in the fall. It doesn't work like that anymore. You get a job that's paying well above the average wage rates.
A wealth of things you could be doing underwater. Some of it's cold, some of it's dark, some of it's deep, some of it's not for everyone, but there also is...
What's fascinating about a career that's underwater or dive related is it can take you where your heart wants to go. So you have the opportunity to do something that you enjoy doing in the first place and make a career out of it, and you never know where that's going to take you.
I think these companies are seeing a looming crisis on the horizon for a shortage of people, and there's a need right now too.
We need people who have a passion for the business. This is not a job. You cannot be a ship or a marine technician and consider it a job. It has to be a passion. You've got to be interested in ships, you've got to be interested in engines, you've got to be interested in people. And if you are, then it pays very well. The industry is a high wage industry relative to a lot of industries right now, which of course are pushing wages down. In the marine industry, we don't have that luxury because there's a scarcity of people, so the pay rates are very, very attractive.
The industry is a very sophisticated industry, and I recommend that any kid that likes water, likes seamanship, and likes technology, that they should be attracted to this industry.
Certainly water-related activities, maritime activities, is a wide open field for young people to get into. That some of the last great unexplored places in the world rest in the Great Lakes as well as the oceans. And the tremendous economic value will continue to drive the participation of many, many people in those areas. So if you start young, stay interested in marine history, marine biology, exploration, those kinds of activities may serve you well later on in life.
You are lucky like we were. We all graduated on Friday night, and by Saturday morning we were all employed in the field that we had gone to school for. So, and this being a personal bias, I really, really encourage women to consider the skilled trades. And as I always point out to people, working on a ship is a thinking person's job, and women are certainly cut out for that.
The ships nowadays, they're extreme high technology, high computers, high digital technology, and there's actually a lot to learn. So actually Algoma has 6 new ships coming over, the Equinox class ships that are built, and they're all the best of technology. So it's pretty exciting, these 6 new ships that we've got coming in. We're not actually the only company doing this as well. Basically the entire Great Lakes fleet is being renewed with new ships. But it's pretty exciting times to have a good career.
There's a great opportunity on the Great Lakes, and our maritime future is out there, and it's for real, and it's not going to go away. We've had it for 100 years and 100 years before that behind us, but there's 100 years ahead of us. And if we want to have kids find employment and find good opportunities and make big bucks and do real work and enjoy benefits and comfort and satisfaction and adventure, then they need to look to the lakes.